Okay, come in and look at it from here. So this is adjustable. You need to dig out the dirt from behind here, and this pokes down and it keeps it from going that way. This hooks on the back side of the curb, and this rubber foot, that's a swivelly rubber foot, it parks on there. And so then when you advance, here's where the water goes in, and it's a clever device. The water comes out the inside of the core drill and it rinses all the bits away. It's a slurry. It's kind of a slurry of mud. And so you plug this into electricity there. You run the water over here, keep them separate, and you get in here. You can adjust the height with these legs. You can adjust the bird's eye view angle by parking it here and there. And then these are adjustable sliders. And so what you do is you adjust it so that you're like at half pipe right at the gutter. For example. You might want to be deeper than that. And then,
so you would start coring up here.
You actually, this isn't going to show it very well. I could, you know, if I unscrew these. That's, you can see that I can adjust it to do that, and it brings that down. And then this hits, and you're going really fast, and then when it finally hits, hear that? So what you do is you go full speed, ring, and then when it comes into there and it touches, it flips that out, it like grinds it, because if you do it too hard, you'll push the tool up. And that's why I actually put this hose clamp here, because to make sure that this stays parallel when this is pushing up. But then if you do it slowly enough and at the right angle, then you gradually get a bigger lip, and then you get hooked. And by the time you get full bore all the way around, then you can kind of reef on this sucker, okay? But you go really slowly. You go about this slow. You can't even video this. It takes 20 minutes. When it's cutting, it makes the water have a slurry of paste. Okay, so should I put a bunch of water so that it's a relatively clean slurry? Or should I keep it as a paste? Does that help the grind? I don't know. How can I make the diamond last the longest? There's so many things I don't know. Self-contained,
This is for controlling your flow rate, which in turn is going to impact that slurry that you're generating.
And so you can sit here and you can turn it on and push that button and it stays on really fast, and it feels safe because you can advance it. If you advance it too fast, it'll skip, boom, but it doesn't even budge this thing. It's too heavy. And if you look at the leverage and the forces, it could make the rubber foot bobble up a teeny little bit, but it's not gonna bite you, And when it binds, there must be some breaker inside the machine that turns it off right away. What happens here is that a chunk could get loose and wedge, and it'll just stop instead of breaking itself. And you're like, oh fuck! But then you just turn it off and back it out, turn it on again, and it goes, and nothing happens to the machine. And then when you're done, you back this off. Like when you finally punch through, and slurry's going down the street, and Jacqueline has been standing with her foot on this to hold it down, and an umbrella here, right? and then she's watching, and then when water starts coming out the back, you're almost through, you punch through, and then the part breaks off on the inside of the tool.
Right.
Right? And then you take and you pick it up like this. And then you have to hit it with a hammer sometimes, or sometimes you just slide right out. This big old piece. It looks kind of cool.
Yeah.
And the hole looks darn cool.
Right.
You know, it's the intersection of a cylinder and the curb profile that makes a very interesting 3D shape. And curiously, when you get this going, see how it wants to go a little bit?
Yeah.
If you get it right there where it's just touching the concrete,
yeah,
and it's starting its own hole, and it's like spinning and freewheeling, I like to just let it go.
Let the weight of the tool do the work.
It's only on the barely weight of this handle being heavier than that, owing to its position.
Right.
And that's like a teeny percentage of what your little finger could push.
Right.
And I'll let it do that for a minute to get started
right.
under no load, so that the alignment's perfect.
Right.
You've hooked a lip.
Yeah, now it's not dancing around.
You can pull
right.
it.
Right.
But what happens is, when you have hooked barely a lip, the cut's so thin that gravel-sized pieces of concrete will break off owing to the vibration, and that can make it jitter.
Right.
So you kind of have to do that slowly, and then what I'll do is, when I get it to almost, like as soon as that touches that, and I'm full round contact, I'll back off the drill, and I'll break off this piece.
Right.
Thinking that it will have less potential wear on the inside of the tool.
Right, so it's not rubbing against something.
And it's not rubbing on one side.
Right.
And then I have more closely uniform all the way around.
Yeah. What do? You just hit it with the sledgehammer and it pops right out.
Yes.
Right.
And then these feet, you could video those feet and you could see that they're pointy, but at first, before the wash was there, this was just going straight into the asphalt at a rate because the asphalt's hot, and this isn't even Tucson.
Yeah,
right?
So you went ahead and you welded some washers to distribute
Right.
the force a little bit, right?
In Tucson, that would have to be a 6-inch washer.
Right.
Right?
Yep.
And so what you do is you get it all set up exactly how you like, and you smack this with a sledgehammer until the point goes in the asphalt,
and it's resting
and
on
it's
the washer.
on the washer, and that helps keep it. It can't walk horizontally because it's too heavy. It's not going to walk. You could put tremendous pressure on the tool,
Right.
and it would have a reactive force to, but see, that rod is not going to pull through the backside of the concrete curb very fast. These were lengthened so that you have more
play, right.
You know, of course, the washers was part of it. Putting the valve on the body of the, like this is like the chassis of the car.
Sure.
And so that was a good move to tidy it up. The hose clamp here keeps this from pushing up. See, the hose clamp's under tension. Video that. The hose clamp's under tension,
Right.
which keeps this drill from going, and you can get it started and you can adjust that tension. Check your alignment. Hear that?
Yep.
Okay, it makes a racket when the bit's spinning like that and you're going in like that. And you can imagine as you go in, the concrete is kind of pushing up on this. And see, I can pull up on that.
Right.
And so what you do is you get in there and you put yay amount of tension on it.
And then the strap is going to actually help keep tension on it.
You could dial this strap. The problem is that this is too short of a mounting clamp,
Right.
and there's no way to modify this drill except this solves the problem. It's not elegant, but it solves it.
Right.
Yeah. So here comes the gutter, and you want to tilt the gutter towards your hole. So what you do is you take the concrete saw, and you go, and you slice in,
Yeah.
and you pull it back to nothing. You have to do it deftly. You have to know how to run a saw, and you have to be a good hand to do this. And you do like 20 cuts, and they're this far apart. And you've done it deftly so they're exactly the right depth, because if one's too deep, you have to spend a long time grinding it out.
Right.
And you'll have to fix a too deep thing here, you're going to have to change the whole shape of the thing to make it right again at that depth, right? So, but if you do it right, you do them like 1/2 inch apart. And you come in and you break off all that stuff and hit the high spots with this. And then come in with the big grinder and get it
nice and
real
smooth.
close.
Right.
And then you smooth it with the little grinder, and then it looks like $1,000,000, man.
So this is the 3-inch grinder.
This is for polishing.
More for
really.
polishing.
You can get creases out that the big grinder makes. When you cut the curb, sometimes you end up with an acute angle with a narrow thing that could chip off easily, and you'll hit that pretty hard with the big grinder and try to round it really good, but you can't see as well because the tool is in your way. And with this one, you can just go like that, and you can really smooth it out.
Yeah,
and
take the edges off, right.
Make it look really nice and tie it in to the rest.
Let me see the big one. The big one is the one for contouring.
Oh yeah, I have it here.
Right.
So the more teeth there are on this, the slower it takes out material.
Right.
But what you kind of need to do is, this has 24 teeth. You want to get a good one that has 12 teeth. And that'll take off like almost 1/8 of an inch at a pass. Okay? Or 1/16, like, or a good amount, okay? And this takes forever. It's hard on your back. That's why she got me that stool. And you're looking at $50 to $80 for one of those. Okay, there's another one, 7-inch double roll cut wheel. That's trash. And these are the tools for getting to my drills. This was $55 a long time ago. It's a diamond saw blade for the grinder, for if you want to do that. I've got a diamond saw blade for the little grinder too.
So you're using that diamond saw blade to actually do the cuts in the curb using this larger one, right?
You know, you saw the Beast, which is my Makita 16-inch cutoff saw.
Yeah.
Big cuts.
Right.
What if you want to go through a wall, or there's a tight space, you want to cut some more precision cuts?
Right.
You could do it with those.
Got it.
And so that you can, it's kind of milling, because your stock is whatever was manufactured during the concrete pouring process with the form, right? Your neighborhood was built with a form. Right. It's the curb and gutter form, right? It's probably a slightly different profile from what they use in Silver City.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's your feedstock, and you're tooling that to make your diversion. And so